In a quiet Ghanaian town, 25-year-old Noah walked along a dusty road, his shoes scuffing the earth with each step. His gaze often lingered on the mango tree where he and 23-year-old Rose sat after school. Her laughter would ring in his ears, the two of them talking for hours about their dreams. Her bright eyes sparkled as she spoke, her hands occasionally brushing back the long strands of hair that framed her face. Noah remembered the first time he noticed her. Rose, in her expensive clothes, had smiled at him in the crowded market, and from that moment, they became inseparable. Though their backgrounds were worlds apart, Noah, humble and hardworking, and Rose, from a wealthy family, they found common ground. Rose lived in a house bigger than Noah's entire neighborhood. Her father, a businessman, and her mother, a nurse, often hosted grand dinners. But Rose, with all that luxury, never acted superior. She always took time to sit under the mango tree, talking to Noah like he was her equal. She loved him for his kindness, and he admired her for her wisdom. The bond grew stronger, love blooming between them like a flower in the spring. They spoke of a future, their dreams interwoven. Noah as a teacher, Rose as a nurse, both helping others. The plans they made were simple, but full of promise. But then, the days grew heavier. Rose became pregnant, and though she was scared, she clung to Noah, trusting him. "We will be okay," Noah assured her, holding her hand and feeling the weight of their future. Months passed. Rose's belly grew round, and Noah's excitement only grew, though he couldn't shake the worry that lingered. And then, one night, Rose went into labor. Noah stood beside her, holding her hand as the night stretched on. In the end, they welcomed twin daughters, Ella and Maya, small but perfect. Their tiny hands curled around Noah's finger, their eyes bright and full of life. But when Noah woke the next morning, something was wrong. Rose was gone. She left without a word, without a note. She simply disappeared. Noah searched the house, calling her name, but there was no answer. The house felt empty, colder than before. His heart shattered as he sat on the floor, his two daughters in his arms. He didn't understand. Why had she left them? Tears fell from his eyes as he whispered to the babies, "I will raise you. I will protect you. I will be both your father and mother. You are my heart now." His words were soft, a vow to his daughters, to give them everything he could, even if he didn't know where to start. From that day on, Noah worked tirelessly. He carried Ella and Maya on his back, the twins wrapped in a cloth, as he sold fruits in the market. He washed clothes for people, did any job he could find. Each step was harder than the last, but he didn't stop. He fed them, cleaned them, rocked them to sleep in the evenings when the exhaustion weighed heavy on his bones. The house was small and worn, a far cry from the mansion Rose came from. Noah's father worked for the electricity company and was away most of the time, but when he came home, he brought whatever money he could. That money helped Noah buy milk for the babies, though it wasn't always enough. Some days, there was no money. Noah would hold Ella and Maya close, watching their tiny faces as their cries filled the room. Their hunger gnawed at him. Noah's heart broke each time he saw them like that, and the silence between their cries was deafening. He would walk around the house, trying to calm them, but the empty stomachs and tired eyes never seemed to stop. Their grandmother, though frail, would sit with them. She would press her worn breast to the baby's lips, hoping to comfort them, hoping that a little milk would come. But there was nothing. Her face, lined with age, would soften as she rocked them slowly, her tears falling silently onto their heads. "Your mother left you," she would whisper. "But we are still here. We will love you always." Noah stood at the door, his heart heavy. He wanted so much more for his daughters, but all he could offer was love and effort. He watched his mother care for the twins, her strength their lifeline. Together, they made it through each day, a family bound by love. 8 months later, Rose returned, without warning, like a ghost from the past. One afternoon, Noah was outside, washing the twins' clothes. The warm sunlight made the clothes smell sweet, but when he looked up, he saw her, Rose, standing at the gate, looking clean and well-fed. She wore fine clothes, a far cry from the woman who had given birth to their daughters. Noah froze, his breath caught in his throat. He stood still for a moment, his eyes searching her face for any sign of regret. But there was none. Rose looked at the twins, her gaze lingering on them for a moment before she spoke. "I want to take them with me." Noah's heart began to race. He took a step forward, one of the babies on his back, his other daughter in his arms. "No, Rose," he said, his voice breaking. "You left them. You didn't even say goodbye." Rose's eyes flickered with something. Guilt? Maybe. But it passed quickly. "Okay, just give me one of them. Let me take the younger twin. You can keep the other." Noah shook his head, his voice steady but full of emotion. "They are twins. They came into this world together. They cry together. They sleep side by side. You can't divide them like bread. Please, Rose, if you really care, come back home and help me raise them." Rose turned her head, her face hardening, and said, "I can't do that." Noah's chest tightened, but he refused to let her see his pain. The next day, he walked to Rose's family house, hoping that if he spoke to her parents, they would understand. Maybe they would convince Rose to come back. He knocked on the gate, but it was Rose's brother who came out, his face twisted in anger. Noah tried to explain, but before he could finish, Rose's brother lifted a full bucket of water and poured it over him, drenching him completely. Noah stood there, shocked, as the cold water dripped from his clothes, his shirt sticking to his skin. The brother shouted, "Get out of here, poor boy. Don't ever come back." Noah slowly turned to leave, water running down his face. He could see Rose standing by the gate, her face unreadable. Their eyes met, and for a moment, Noah thought she would say something. But she didn't. Her expression was cold, indifferent. "I can't suffer with you," she said, her voice firm. Noah felt something break inside him. He walked away slowly, the weight of his heart making each step harder than the last. Water dripped from his clothes, but nothing could wash away the pain. The pain of knowing that Rose had truly left them behind. When Noah returned, he stood at the doorway and looked at his babies. His hand wiped away a tear from his cheek, and his voice came out soft but steady. "Your mother may have left again," he whispered to them, "but I'm still here. I will never leave you." Years passed. Rose, now married to a wealthy man, lived in a world of luxury, fancy cars, an elegant house, and countless riches. In the pictures people saw, she looked happy. She wore expensive clothes, went to parties, and surrounded herself with comfort. But all these years, Ella and Maya had faded from her mind. For 12 whole years, she never called, never visited, never sent a gift, and never asked how they were doing. Noah, alongside his mother and father, raised the girls. Noah worked tirelessly at multiple jobs to ensure the girls had everything they needed: school, food, and warmth. His mother taught the twins how to cook, clean, and pray. The girls, growing up under their love, developed kind hearts. They laughed together, played together, and helped with the chores around the house. One afternoon, something unexpected happened. A big car appeared in front of their small house, its shiny black body gleaming under the sun. Rose stepped out, her appearance unchanged. Her hair was styled neatly, and she wore a pair of polished shoes that shone brightly. The girls were outside, helping Noah's mother peel cassava. When Maya, the younger twin, noticed Rose, she felt a surge of excitement in her chest. She didn't stop to think. She ran to her mother and threw her arms around her. Her face lit up with a wide smile. But Ella, the older twin, didn't move. She didn't smile. She stood still, staring at Rose with a calm, steady gaze. Noah's mother, her voice gentle, spoke to Ella. "Ella, this is your mother. Greet her." Ella slowly turned her head toward her grandmother. With a quiet but firm voice, she replied, "No, my real mother is you. You are the one who stayed. You are the one who fed us, held us when we cried, and never left." Rose's mouth opened, as though she were about to speak, but no words came out. She stood there for a moment, holding Maya again, before turning and walking slowly back to her car. The last time they saw her was then. Rose never called again, never sent a letter, and never asked about her daughters. Noah stood at the door, holding back the tears that threatened to fall. But he looked at Ella and Maya, and despite the pain, he smiled. His daughters had grown into strong, beautiful young women, and even without their mother, they were deeply loved. Though many people urged him to find a new wife, telling him, "Noah, you are still young. You should remarry," he always gave the same answer. "No, I cannot remarry now," he would explain. "The twins are still too young. Another woman may not love them the way I do. She might treat them badly. Me and my girls have already suffered too much in life. I don't want to bring more problems into their lives." Noah's heart still held love for Rose, despite everything. He wished she had stayed. He wished the girls had a mother to care for them, but she was gone, and he had to stay strong. Years went by, and Noah worked hard to provide for his daughters. Eventually, he got a better job. It was a fresh start, and he was happy to earn enough money to care for Ella and Maya. So he took them with him to a new place, and they settled into a small, cozy house in a bustling town. Every morning, Noah woke up early to prepare breakfast, help the girls get ready for school, and then go to work. When he came home at night, tired from the long day, he still managed to help them with their homework and tell them stories before bed. Life wasn't easy. There was no family close by, no grandmother like his mother, no one to help. Noah did everything on his own. At times, the girls would miss having a mother so badly that it hurt. On special occasions like school events, parents' days, or Mother's Day, their hearts felt empty. They would see their classmates running to hug their mothers, laughing, holding hands, taking pictures. But they had no one. Noah could only stand at the side, feeling powerless. Sometimes, the pain was unbearable. And so, the girls began to do something strange. On those days, when they felt the absence of a mother most, they would give a little money to a woman at the event who seemed kind, and whisper, "Please, can you pretend to be our mother today?" The woman would smile, pose for pictures with them, and stand beside them during the event. From afar, everything seemed fine, but deep inside, Ella and Maya were hurting. Later, when the event ended and they were back home, they would go to their room and cry quietly. They didn't want their father to hear. They didn't want to make him sad. But Noah knew. He saw the sadness in their eyes. Each time, he would sit outside alone, looking at the stars, praying for strength, wishing things had turned out differently. One evening, many years later, Ella and Maya sat down in the living room with their father. They had grown into beautiful, smart, strong young women. They looked at him, their eyes full of love, and said, "Daddy, we want to talk to you." Noah smiled and nodded. "I'm listening, my daughters." Maya spoke first, her voice soft but clear. "Daddy, we know you've done everything for us. You raised us alone. You gave us love, food, school, and everything we needed. But we see that you are lonely." Ella added, "You never remarried because of us. But now we are big girls. We can take care of ourselves. You don't have to worry anymore." They both held his hands and said together, "Please find someone to make you happy. We will support you. Even if she has children of her own or brings new people into our lives, we will handle it. We are ready." Tears filled Noah's eyes. For so long, he had pushed away the thought of loving someone again. But hearing these words from his daughters filled him with courage. Noah sat under the mango tree outside his small house. The sun had started to set, and a soft breeze brushed his face. The sound of laughter drifted from inside. A gentle voice called, "My girls, come let me finish your braids." Ella and Maya ran to Bella, who sat with a comb and a bowl of beads beside her. Her smile stretched wide as she parted Maya's hair carefully. She didn't raise her voice, not even once. When the girls made mistakes in the kitchen, she guided their hands patiently. She always said, "You are my girls," and treated them like her own. Months passed. Then, one morning, the cry of a newborn echoed through the house. Bella cradled her son gently. Ella and Maya peeked into the room, eyes wide with wonder. Noah stood by the doorway, arms crossed, watching with a full heart. When the baby laughed, he laughed too. When the girls helped Bella grind spices or wash clothes, he would sit quietly in a corner and nod with pride. Laughter and footsteps filled the house. Then came a quiet morning. Bella folded her clothes neatly and placed them in a bag. Noah watched her from the wooden chair. She turned to him, eyes hopeful. "I want to go to the mainland to learn fashion. I love sewing. This is my chance." Noah didn't argue. He reached into his drawer and pulled out a bundle of cash. "Be careful," he said as he placed it in her hands. She hugged the children, held Noah tightly, and walked out the door. The sound of her slippers faded down the path. They never saw her again. Noah dialed her number again and again. He walked to the bus station and asked around. Nobody knew her. He stared at her old sewing machine and sighed. One night, he sat outside, head in his hands. The sky was full of stars. "God," he whispered, "what have I done? Why do they always leave me?" Ella sat beside him first. Maya followed. They leaned against him, arms wrapped around his shoulders. "Daddy," Maya said, wiping his tears, You are not alone. We're here. And so is your son. Noah didn't speak, but he nodded. His hand rested on their heads. That night, they sat together in silence. Years passed. Maya stood in front of the mirror, her dress sparkling. Music played in the background. Friends laughed in the compound. The air smelled of jollof rice and fried meat. But when Maya looked into the crowd, her eyes dropped. An older woman stood beside her with a calm smile, the family friend she had asked to step in. Rose didn't come. People whispered as Maya walked down the aisle. Where is her real mother? Someone said. Noah stood tall beside Maya. He held her hand firmly, but his eyes glistened. His heart carried the weight. Back home, Ella stood by the window many nights. She watched couples pass by, hand in hand. Suitors came and left. Her prayer mat remained folded in the corner, always waiting. At night, her whisper floated through the room. Lord, don't forget me. I want to be a wife too. Sometimes her tears soaked the pillow, but by morning, she would rise and smile again. Then it happened. A man with kind eyes and gentle words came. He held her hand and looked at her father with respect. I love her, he said. I want to marry her. Ella ran to her room, spun in circles, and hugged Noah tightly. God has done it, she shouted. But one evening, as she stirred soup in the kitchen, her hand stopped. The spoon clattered to the floor. She bent down and covered her face, sobbing. Noah rushed in. What's wrong? He asked, kneeling beside her. Through sobs, she said, I wish my mother was here. Just once. Just to see me in my dress and say I'm beautiful. Later that evening, Ella walked slowly to the next compound. Mama G sat on her wooden stool, peeling yams. When she saw Ella, she stood up and opened her arms. Ella dropped her bag and collapsed into her embrace. Tears soaked Mama G's wrapper. The old woman stroked her back. You are not alone, my daughter. I am here. From that day on, Mama G stood firm. During the introduction, she tied Ella's gelly and danced beside her. She clapped loudly, singing traditional songs. Ella smiled through her tears. Weeks passed. Friends and family sat outside, helping with wedding plans. Plates of ground nuts were passed around. One friend asked, Ella, did you invite your mother? You said you forgave her. Ella looked up. The moonlight touched her face, showing tired but peaceful eyes. I forgave her, she said quietly. But I will not invite her. Why not? Another asked. She chose to stay away, Ella replied. She wasn't there when I needed her. Not when I cried. Not when I was sick. Not for my introduction. I made my peace. The group went quiet. Heads nodded slowly. The wedding day arrived. Trumpets blared, drums rolled, and dancers filled the yard. Ella's dress sparkled in the sun. Guests cheered. Then, at the gate, a woman in dark clothes stood. Her eyes searched the crowd. Rose. Before she could take another step, two guards blocked her path. One pointed back. She lowered her head and walked away slowly, her shoulders hunched in shame. Inside, the groom took the microphone. Mr. Noah, he said, thank you for raising such a wonderful woman. Thank you for loving her and Maya. He raised a car key in the air. A new car stood outside, shining under ribbons. Noah covered his face with both hands. Tears ran down his cheeks. He walked slowly to the groom and hugged him tightly. Thank you, he whispered. Thank you. And the celebration went on. The drums beat louder. Laughter rose. Ella held her husband's hand, smiling brightly. She had peace. She had love. She was finally home. I hope you enjoyed today's story. If you did, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss more stories like this. Leave a like and comment below to share your thoughts. See you in the next video, and don't forget to share it with friends and family who love heartfelt tales.